Hello everyone, my name is Brother Cassian Locke and welcome to today's sermon. Today I want to talk about the very concept of a satanic community. Most people hear the phrase satanic community and imagine either a cult or a club, either blind obedience or total chaos, matching robes, shared dogma, somebody barking orders while everyone else nods along pretending certainty. That's the baggage people drag in with them because most people only know community through conformity. Satanic community, at least as I understand it, should be the opposite of that. A real satanic community is built from individuals who remain individuals. That sounds simple, but it's actually rare. Most groups, religious or political, eventually start demanding sameness, same opinions, same language, same enemies, same approved emotions. People stop thinking out loud because they don't want social punishment. Before long, the community becomes a machine that rewards obedience more than honesty. Satanism should resist that instinct constantly. We already reject the idea of surrendering ourselves to some cosmic authority. It would be ridiculous to throw that freedom away the second we join a social group. If Satan means anything symbolically, he represents the adversary, the one who questions imposed authority and refuses to kneel simply because kneeling is expected. So what does fellowship look like without forced conformity? It looks like people gathering because they genuinely value each other's minds, experiences, humor, creativity, and strength, not because they're terrified of exclusion. It means you can disagree sharply without treating disagreement like betrayal. It means nobody has to pretend certainty to belong. That matters because loneliness has become one of the defining conditions of modern life. People are isolated, overworked, disconnected, and suspicious of one another. Many drift into extremist spaces not because the ideology is convincing, but because somebody finally said, "You belong here." Human beings are social animals. We need tribe, we need recognition, we need witness. But belonging becomes dangerous when it comes with the price tag of intellectual surrender. You see this everywhere now. Political tribes, online purity cultures, religious movements, even activist spaces that began with good intentions can slowly harden into little churches where questioning the group becomes heresy. Everybody claims to value free thought right up until free thought becomes inconvenient. A satanic community should never become that. The Church of Satan, historically, leaned so heavily into individualism that it often dismissed the very idea of satanic community altogether. The Satanic Temple went the other direction and emphasized congregations, public campaigns, and collective identity. I think both approaches reveal something useful and something incomplete. Human beings do need community. We are not machines. We are not islands. Even the strongest individual eventually needs trusted people around them during grief, illness, failure, heartbreak, addiction, fear, or just exhaustion. There's nothing weak about admitting that. Pretending you need nobody usually ends with a person becoming emotionally constipated and spiritually brittle. But community should support individuality, not consume it. That means a satanic community should never ask you to amputate your judgment for social comfort. If everyone in the room agrees all the time, somebody is lying. Or worse, somebody has stopped thinking. A healthy satanic space should contain friction, not pointless hostility, not ego contests. Friction, honest disagreement, different political views sometimes, different aesthetics, different priorities, different personalities. The important thing is whether people can remain grounded in mutual respect while still defending their own minds. That is much harder than obedience. Obedience is easy. Obedience is comforting. Somebody tells you what is true, who is evil, what words are allowed, and what opinions are safe to express. Your identity gets handed to you pre-packaged like cheap furniture with instructions attached. Freedom is harder. Freedom means carrying responsibility for your own conclusions. It means accepting that nobody else can do your thinking for you. Satanism, at its best, asks people to become self-authoring adults, not followers, not ideological photocopies. And yet there's another side to this. Individualism can become narcissism if left unchecked. Some people hear, "Be your own God," and interpret it as permission to become selfish, cruel, emotionally stunted little tyrants. They confuse rebellion with maturity. They think compassion is weakness because they've never learned the difference between vulnerability and submission. That's nonsense. Compassion matters. Loyalty matters. Friendship matters. Protecting one another matters. A community without empathy eventually rots into posturing and paranoia. Strength without compassion becomes domination. Compassion without boundaries becomes martyrdom. The balance matters. A satanic community should be a place where people sharpen one another without controlling one another. You should leave conversations thinking more deeply, not merely feeling more validated. You should feel permitted to say, "I disagree." You should feel safe admitting uncertainty. Nobody should have to perform perfection. Human beings are messy. We contradict ourselves. We evolve. We learn. Sometimes we fail publicly. Any community that cannot survive honest imperfection eventually becomes theater. And frankly, Satanists should know better than most how dangerous enforced conformity can become. Many people come to Satanism after growing up in authoritarian religious environments. They know what it feels like to suppress doubt, to monitor every thought, to fear rejection for asking the wrong question. If we recreate those same power structures under black candles and goat imagery, then we've learned absolutely nothing. The symbols change, the dysfunction stays the same. That's why I believe satanic community should remain rooted in voluntary association, mutual respect, intellectual honesty, and personal sovereignty. Not ideological policing, not celebrity worship, not cults of personality. No human being should become unquestionable. Not a priest, not a founder, not a minister, not anybody. The moment questioning becomes forbidden, the spirit of satanic rebellion is already dead. And maybe that's the heart of this whole thing. Satanic community is not about becoming identical people gathered beneath a shared symbol. It is about people standing together without demanding surrender from one another, fellowship without submission, shared identity without intellectual captivity. A room full of individuals, not drones. People who understand that freedom becomes stronger when defended collectively, but weaker when collectivism starts devouring the self. That tension never disappears completely. It has to be maintained consciously. Every community drifts toward comfort, certainty, and conformity if left unattended. Which means satanic community, if it is to remain worthy of the name, must stay self-critical. It must remain capable of laughing at itself, questioning itself, correcting itself. The adversary questions everything eventually, even his own side.